Rahim. Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. First, the headlines. Greetings of the leaderships of Morocco and India to His Majesty the Sultan are conveyed by the Chairman of the Council of Deputies of Morocco and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of India when they were received by His Highness Said Fahad bin Mahmoud Al Said. The State Council approves a proposal by the Social Committee to amend Disabled Care and Qualifying Law. And Free and Open Software Conference discusses at Sultan Qaboos University experiences exchange in the technological field. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Highness Said Fahad bin Mahmoud Al Said, Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers, today received His Excellency Dr. Rashid Al-Talibi Al-Alami, Chairman of the Council of Deputies of Morocco, who conveyed greetings of His Majesty King Mohammed VI of Morocco to His Majesty Sultan Qaboos and his best wishes to His Majesty and the government of continued success and to the Omani people of further growth and prosperity. His Highness welcomed the guest and his delegation and praised the good relations between the two countries, stemming brotherly ties and keenness of wise leaderships of both countries to achieve more cooperation and bonds. Talks viewed much of Arab parliamentary work and experiences of both countries in building the institutions for achieving best results for their citizens of stability and decent life, besides preserving historical heritage and values in the society. They also viewed developments in regional and international arenas. His Excellency the guest expressed his delight and that of his delegation of the visit, praising Sultan's achievements at domestic and external levels, as well as Shura approach and its role in comprehensive construction march. The meeting was attended by His Excellency Khalid bin Hilal Al-Mali, Chairman of the Shura Council, and His Excellency Ali bin Abdullah Al-Badi, member of the Shura Council and Deputy Chairman of Omani-Moroccan Parliamentary Friendship Group. His Highness Said Fahad bin Mahmoud Al Said, Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers, today received Her Excellency Sushma Swaraj, Foreign Minister of India, where she conveyed greetings of the Indian leadership to His Majesty Sultan Qaboos and best wishes for His Majesty and the government of continued success and to Omani people with further progress and growth. His Highness welcomed the guest and her delegation. They had comprehensive view of distinctive relations between the two countries and ways of strengthening cooperation in numerous fields. They also viewed a number of current regional and international issues. Her Excellency expressed her delight and that of her delegation of the visit, which is an opportunity to acquaint closely with rapid development witnessed by the Sultanate. She stressed keenness of the Indian government to continue strengthening relations of cooperation between the two countries in serving joint interests between them. The meeting was attended by His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, as well His Excellency J.S. Mukul, India's accredited ambassador to the Sultanate. The State Council approved in its meeting today the proposal to amend Disabled Care and Qualifications Law, which was issued before the Sultan's signing of International Agreement for Disabled People Rights. The session was chaired by His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Mahfouz Al-Mandari, Chairman of the State Council. The Social Committee of the State Council, during the study of the topic, met and listened to all parties concerned with the law. Through discussion by the Council members, some of them pointed out that there is no clear strategy for disabled people and that the law does not keep pace with social and economic changes, while other members stressed the significance to integrate people with hearing and visual disabilities in the general education schools and find specialized colleges for their higher education. The statistics issued by the National Center for Statistics and Information showed that around 20% of disabled are economically active of the total number of more than 62,500 citizens. They also indicated that 18% of disabled are full-time domestic workers, while those unable to work represented around 49% of them. With regard to education, and statistics pointed out to a rise in illiteracy among them, recording 56.5%, while the rate of those who are able to read and write was 13% of the total number of disabled in the Sultanate. 16% of them accounted education below secondary, while rate of those who acquired secondary education was more than 10.5%. The rate of those who acquired post-secondary education was 4% of the disabled people in the Sultanate. With regard to technology, and statistics show that around 35% of the total number use it. Under the theme Digital Solutions for Knowledge Development, the activities of the second conference for free and open source software started today at Sultan Qaboos University. The inauguration ceremony was held under the auspices of His Excellency Abdullah bin Nasser al-Harasi, Chairman of the Public Authority for Radio and Television. A host of local and international specialists in the field take part in the two-day event. It targets companies working in the information technology, researchers, academics, and students. It aims to enhance technical awareness, develop free and open source software applications, and encourage IT and telecommunication industry in the Sultanate. An exhibition was also held on the sideline of the conference, showcasing winning projects in software contests for students. Preparing national standards for development's early childhood and setting up a national strategy were topics discussed at the annual meeting for the review and planning for joint cooperation program between the Sultanate and UNICEF. It was chaired by His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Badr al-Mauli, Under Secretary of the Ministry of Social Development. The meeting also discussed the implementation of an awareness campaign on child nutrition through social media means and rehabilitation of disabled children. The Ministry of Social Development finalized a perspective of reviewing cooperative societies law with their different types that was announced by to Sultanate of Oman Radio and Television by His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Badr al-Mauli, Under Secretary of the Ministry of Social Development. He added that the draft law aimed to make sure that cooperative societies are performing in harmony with the desired partnership between the public sector and the domestic sector. The tender board awarded projects and completing works for development projects with more than 12.5 million Omani Riyals. Among the projects were renewal of tenancy contracts of a building hired for educational assessment of the Ministry of Education, renewal of tenancy contracts of premises of General Diwan of the Ministry of Social Development, and renewal of tenancy contracts of a building of courts complex in Muscat. Envelopes of a number of projects topped by doubling the road from Raisut roundabout to Salala Port in the Governorate of Dhofar were opened. The tender board also approved technical offer for the project of shifting water tanks and changing system of water supply distribution at the Royal Hospital Bosher Health Complex, Diabetes Treatment Center, and Hereditary Genes Center. Still to come in our news bulletin. A convoy presents the Sultan's participation in Expo Milan 2015 in the Governorate of Al-Brahmi. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. Strengthening cooperation between the Sultanate and Morocco was at the focus talks of His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Mahfoud al-Mandari, Chairman of the State Council, with His Excellency Dr. Rashid al-Talibi al-Alami, Chairman of the Council of Deputies of Morocco, and his delegation. During the meeting, they also viewed aspects of cooperation in parliamentary fields and ways of strengthening them, in addition to matters of mutual concern. His Excellency Dr. Rashid al-Talibi al-Alami, Chairman of the Council of Deputies of Morocco, and his delegation visited Sultan's Armed Forces Museum and acquainted with historical manuscripts and miniatures which reflected Omani architectural arts at Beit al-Falij Fort. They also listened to a briefing on development of Sultan's Armed Forces during the glorious reign of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, Supreme Commander. A view of march of good relations between the Sultan and India and ways of strengthening them were at the focus of talks of His Excellency General Sultan bin Mohammed al-Nu'mani, Minister of Royal Office, with Her Excellency Sushma Swaraj, India's Minister of Foreign and Non-Resident Indian Affairs. They also discussed a number of matters of interest to both countries, besides a number of issues of mutual concern. Developing diplomatic relations between the Sultan and India were within the focus of the meeting of His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, and Her Excellency Sushma Swaraj, India's Minister of Foreign and Non-Resident Indian Affairs. During the meeting, they exchanged points of view on regional and international issues of mutual concern. Doctor and pharmacist Rashid bin Umaira al-Rustakhi is the first Omani included in the UNESCO program within the influential historical personalities in human renaissance within the fourth centenary of his personality. Omani National Committee for Education, Culture and Science organized a seminar about the scientific aspects of the doctor. The celebration came as appreciation of his efforts in medicine field. All his works were documented in the Ministry of Heritage and Culture. The seminar also included exhibition of some of his publications and manuscripts, which documented with doctor's works and research's results. The Municipal Council in the Government of South Batna discussed in its second meeting of the year the expatriate housing phenomenon in residential districts, selling vehicles in public places, and selling women's clothes shops. The meeting, which was headed by His Excellency Sheikh Hilal bin Saeed Al-Hajri, Governor of South Batna, came out with many solutions for those phenomena. A convoy to present the Sultan's participation in Expo Milan 2015 produced its goals in the Governorate of Al-Buraimi within its plan to visit wilayas and governorates of the Sultanate. The convoy revealed the main goals of the participation in the exhibition, in addition to present what the Sultan's stall will contain during the 6 months of the exhibition. This participation is considered as cultural message about Omani civilized treasure. The great roles which the Sultan play in food security and tourism was also shown. On other news, the United Nations mediator on Syria said that the government had expressed a willingness to support or to suspend its aerial bombardment and artillery shelling of the northern city of Aleppo to allow for a local ceasefire to be tested. Stefan de Mistura said opposition forces would be asked to suspend mortar and rocket fire. The government of Syria has indicated its willingness to halt all aerial bombing and artillery shelling of period of 6 weeks all over the city of Aleppo from the date which will be announced from Damascus. De Mistura added that the facts on the ground will prove if the freeze was successful and can be replicated elsewhere. Ukrainian government forces were seen retreating from the battlefield today as the pro-Russian rebels continued their onslaught on the railroad junction of Debaltseve. Debaltseve has become the epicenter of fighting between separatists and government troops in eastern Ukraine. In comments on his official Twitter account, Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko said Ukraine had pulled most of its troops out of Debaltseve, denying claims by the pro-Russian rebels that the Ukrainians were encircled. Also, Mariupol is on the Azov Sea, and concerns are strong that separatists aim to seize it as a step toward establishing a corridor between mainland Russia and the Crimean Peninsula that Russia annexed 11 months ago. Now for the general weather forecast, clear skies will prevail over the Sultanate with clouds and fog over governorates of South Sharqiya, Wusta and northern parts of Dhofar. Winds will be north to northeasterly light to moderate along the coast of the Sea of Oman, while it will be south to southwesterly light to moderate along the rest of the Sultanate. Seas will be slight to moderate along the southeastern coast with a maximum wave height of 1.5 meters, and along the rest of the coast it will be slight with a maximum wave height of 1 meter. This is Sultan of Oman Television. Before we enter tonight's bulletin, in the main points once again. Greetings of the leaderships of Morocco and India to His Majesty the Sultan are conveyed by the Chairman of the Council of Deputies of Morocco and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of India when they were received by His Highness Said Fahad bin Mahmoud Al Said. The State Council approves a proposal by the Social Committee to amend disabled care and qualifying law. And Free and Open Software Conference discusses as Sultan Qaboos University experiences exchange in the technological field. And with that comes the end of tonight's news bulletin from all of us here in the newsroom and studios. Good night.